So for those of you subscribed to David Wood's channel, Acts 17 Apologetics, then you already know why yesterday was a special day. Yesterday, Wood released the first of 32 videos for our Islamicize Me project. What's Islamicize Me? So Islamicize Me is a project that is the brainchild of David Wood, and this project has been brewing in his brain for a lot of years now. Now, something about this that a lot of people might not know is that we actually constructed this story based off of true events. A few weeks ago, I posted a video of Robert Spencer, and for those that don't know who Robert Spencer is, he's actually one of the world's leading experts on jihad. He's the first person to ever come out with a book giving a comprehensive history of jihad from Muhammad all the way to ISIS. A few years ago, after people were murdered for drawing cartoons of Muhammad, Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller said that they were going to send a message, and that message was, we will not be moved by terrorism. The message that jihadists and terrorists send out is that if you make fun of Muhammad, if you draw pictures of Muhammad, if you criticize Islam, then we're going to kill you. But Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller said, we're not going to be silenced by terrorism. So Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller held a cartoon drawing contest of Muhammad. The message was, you're not going to get special privileges. Everybody's religion gets made fun of in America. So you're just going to have to grow up like the rest of us and learn how to take insults without killing people.
Is there any remorse whatsoever in the fact that by having this event there simply with the caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad, which we know certainly makes some people very angry, that more people might have been killed, that more innocents might have been killed had these officers not done their job well? You could have had dozens of people dead last night.
Ed, your question is predicated on the assumption that I would have been responsible and the other organizers would have been responsible had anybody been killed.
You would not have been responsible?
The reality is that the responsibility would have lain with the killers and only with the killers.
Robert, what did you hope to gain by offering a $10,000 best cartoon depiction of Muhammad contest?
We hoped to gain a general understanding in the West that the freedom of speech was important, was valuable, was worth defending. That the adage, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it, is an important foundation of any free society. And that therefore it is imperative that we stand up against violent intimidation, that we refuse to allow ourselves to be silenced by threats, silenced by murder, that we will not be intimidated into silence, but we will continue to speak, because if we allow ourselves to be intimidated into silence, then we are effectively giving the signal that terrorism works. That if you go and murder people, then you can get them to do what you want, get the survivors to do what you want.
Let's bring this up then.
That would end up with a rule of murderers.
One of the reasons why I decided to be part of this project is because I completely agree. What's crazy about this story is that Vocab Malone, the other leading actor along with David Wood and myself, actually knew the terrorists that went to go kill Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller.
An evangelical pastor close to Simpson says he was not surprised to hear Simpson's name connected with the Texas terror attack.
He had expressed to me admiration specifically for Osama bin Laden. He used the word hero.
He spent countless hours trying to talk with him about the truth of Jesus and the peace that's to be found in him, but instead Sharpton became more radicalized because he started hanging out with more and more people who supported jihad. So we decided to call up Robert Spencer and get him involved in the project and make this story loosely based off of that event. But when I say loosely, I do mean loosely. I personally get a lot of nasty comments and messages from Muslims, including death threats. Everybody knows, or at least they should know, that Islam has a disproportional amount of terrorism compared to every other world religion combined. Since 9/11, there's been over 33,000 deadly terrorist attacks inspired by the teachings of Islam. But if Islam truly is a religion of peace and people like Robert Spencer completely misunderstand the teachings of Islam, then why is it that so many other Muslims who decide to kill in the name of Allah also misunderstand it in the exact same way? Why is it that we don't see nearly a proportional amount of these sort of attacks happening in the name of Jesus? When is the last time that you heard someone say Jesus is Lord before they blew themselves up and killed a whole bunch of innocent women and children? People that don't understand terrorism well says every religion has their extremists. I mean, look at the KKK. But what people don't realize is that Christianity is based on the person of Jesus Christ, a person who told everybody to love their enemies. And when Peter pulled out a sword in defense of him, Jesus told him to put his sword away. And this is the same man who was being tortured by his enemies, and he was praying for them as he was dying. If we're not allowed to critique Islam, then we're not going to be able to solve the problem of terrorism. As history has shown us, ignoring the problem will not make it go away. Terrorism will not stop if we just conform and accept the Islamic ideology without questioning it. Terrorism will not stop if we refuse to criticize the Islamic ideology that the jihadists and the terrorists believe gives them a theological license to murder all of us. Now, what we are not saying is that all Muslims are terrorists. Obviously, that's a silly claim. You, me, and probably most of the people that are watching this know somebody that's a Muslim that is against terrorism and is not a violent person. But what we are saying is that the ideology that leads to the terrorism needs to be challenged. And by doing this series, we hope that some people who are thinking about joining ISIS before they get radicalized will see these videos, and then they're going to take a deeper look into the teachings that are found in the Quran and the Hadiths. What's Islamicize me? So if you haven't seen the documentary Supersize Me, so what it's about is a guy that tries to show the dangerous effects of eating McDonald's every single day for 30 days, and then he documents his journey. And then at the end of the 30 days, the doctor tells him the effect that eating McDonald's for every day for 30 days had on its body. David Wood had an idea to do the same thing, but instead of eating McDonald's for 30 days, he wanted to see the effects on the body that it would have if you followed the teachings of Islam for 30 days. But we're not just talking about the popular ones here, we're talking about the ones that are less than popular. These teachings were straight pulled from the Islamic sources, from the Quran, Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukari. These teachings range anywhere from drinking camel pee to cure sickness, or to dunking flies in your food, from teachings that permit the beating of your wives, from teachings that allow you to marry prostitutes just for the night, and leading all the way up to jihad. So, a new episode is going to release every single day for the next 30 days on David Wood's channel. I'll go ahead and put a link to that in the description. And as you'd probably assume, things are about to get really interesting. Today is also going to be the first day that I'm going to start doing what I'm going to call my power hour. That is, at the end of every single video, I'm going to spend the first hour responding to every single comment that I can get to within that hour. So make sure you go ahead and leave your comments and your thoughts below if you think that this series is a bad idea, or you don't like the series, or you love the series, or whatever your thoughts are, go ahead and leave that down below. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know you're a new subscriber. And I also want to give a shout out to my super Patreons, Myron Highsmith, Scott Roberts, Alex, Luca, Christina, Matthew. All of you guys, thank you guys so much for helping support this channel. You guys and the rest of the Patreons that continue to support this project, your support is definitely appreciated. So the next time that someone tells you that they haven't heard about Islamicize Me, what are you gonna say? What do you mean?